What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Martha's Vineyard, Season 1, Episode 3. So, we pick up where we left off with Phil in the middle of an argument. Him and Amir about to go to blows. Security had to come and break it up. Silas comes down and he's like, what happened? And they let him know, look, he offended Preston. He offended Nick. He offended Alex. And, Amir was like, listen, bullies are like a trigger for me. Like, I don't do it. I don't deal with it. I don't entertain it. Like, I don't play those kinds of games. He said, when I was a kid, I was bullied a lot. Now that I'm older and I'm muscular and I done the work, I can whoop anybody's tail, and I will. So, they put Phil in timeout, child. Now, Jordan tries to go and talk to Phil. She tries to go have a conversation with Phil, and Phil gets nasty with her. And she was like, well, like, dude, I'm just trying to talk to you. Like, why are you being rude with me? And then she flips out. And she's like, you know what? Like, what you're not going to do is talk to me crazy. What you're not going to do is disrespect me. Like, I don't play those kinds of games. Now, Shanice comes down, and Shanice tries to talk to Phil. And Phil is being rude to Shanice. And him and Shanice, I think, are friends. So, by this time, Preston is like, he got to go. Alex was like, if he don't leave, I'm leaving. Nick was like, he need to go. Now Jordan is like, he needs to go. So Bria is upstairs in bed, child. Mariah is in her room out in the guest house. So they're sort of missing what's going on. So they decide they're going to have a house meeting. Like, let's have a house meeting. Let's call a house meeting. Now here's where things for me become an issue. They said let's have a house meeting where they were going to sit down and have the conversation. Bria comes downstairs, and, Bria's like, well, if Phil got to go, then I need Bria to go because Bria assaulted me and she didn't apologize. Here's my problem. I feel like if you were willing to throw a house meeting and let Alex be a part of the house meeting, why did you not extend that same grace to Mariah and allow her to have her peace? And part of that is because I feel like had Mariah come to a meeting and had an opportunity to talk, one, she may have apologized, or she may have at least given her side of the story and explained why she was upset or why she was in a foul mood. But that didn't happen. So what happened was everybody was ready for Phil to go. And even Jordan was like, well, yeah, I do feel like, Mariah did put her hands on her. You can't get physical with people. So then it became we can't have a double standard. If we say this has to happen for one, then this has to happen for all. And they end up voting not just to get rid of Phil, but also to get rid of Mariah. Now, to defense of the house, they did call Mariah over there, but Mariah got sidetracked in the kitchen with Phil where he was in timeout. But I still feel like Mariah should have had an opportunity to at least explain herself and have the conversation. But neither here nor there. The vote happens, and now Mariah has to leave as well as Phil. Phil leaves that night. Like, I don't even think Phil unpacked his toothbrush, okay? Phil was asked to leave immediately. Now, Jasmine is upset because Jasmine is like, wow, like, that is my best friend. That is my rider. Like, I don't want her to leave. I feel bad. I wasn't there when it got physical. I don't know what happened. And she ends up going to Mariah and letting Mariah know that she has to leave. Now, production must have told Mariah she could wait till the morning because by this time it was dark outside and all of that. So they must have told her, you can leave in the morning. So that's what ended up happening. And I felt like that was kind of messed up. I don't feel like Mariah should have had to leave. Although I understand, especially in light of what we find out a little bit later on. I'll get to that in a second. But I just felt like I didn't feel like that was handled. I don't feel like what happened between Bree and Mariah was on the same level of what Phil did to the whole house in less than 0.2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. So later on that night, we see Amir scurrying around the house. He's got like a ladder. I'm like, where the hell did he even get a ladder from? He's got a ladder that he done climbed up the ladder, and he's like adjusting the curtains, and he's doing all this quirky stuff. And he was like, they were like, yeah, like that's, no, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. Before we get to that, Shanice is running around the house naked, and she is walking around topless, showing her boobs to everybody, to all the men. And Amir, because she even was like, she was in the bathroom and Amir wanted to take a shower. And she was like, well, you can come on in. Amir was like, no, I'm good. Because remember, Amir likes Jordan. And he was like, I ain't about to mess up. I'm trying to get with Jordan. I ain't trying to mess that up fooling around with Shanice. Like, I'm not doing it. And so to his credit, he didn't. So anyway, the next morning, everybody wakes up. And, you know, everybody's doing their thing. Alex is stretching. Nick went for a run. You know, Amir went to go talk to Mariah. She was upset. She was crying. She was packing. You know, but she was definitely not happy. And now I understand why Amir went and talked to her. Because we're going to get to that in a second. Anyway. Jasmine went to go talk to Jordan. And, you know, she's crying. You know, it was a very tearful goodbye. It was a very tearful goodbye. Shanice tries to call Phil the next day. And Phil is still being a dick. Like, he's like, so I got put out because I took a shit in somebody's bathroom. Like, what's that about? What's that about? And I'm like, sir, do you not realize all the things that you did in the less than 2 hours, 3 hours that you were there? First of all, you showed up drunk. So you was on 20 when you got there. You know, I mean, like, ugh. But anyway. So they decided to plan a field day. And you know, Jasmine was like, we had already planned the field day before all of this went down, but it came at a perfect time. This is a great time for us to get out of the house, have to do some team building, and just kind of chill out away from the four walls, you know. So they go down to the beach. She gives them a history of where the name Inkwell came from and all of that good stuff. Now, if you saw the movie with Jada Pinkett Smith and Lorenz Tate back in the day, you already know all this information, girl. But anyway, child. So they divide into groups and they play a couple of games. They have like a they have a tug of war. Then they have like this like relay, and then they do like the cup of water where you have to pass the cup behind you, and whoever has the most cup in their water in their cup when you get to the end of the line, you know, that kind of thing. Let me see. Before they left, I'm trying to remember what order this went in. I think this happened before they left. It was after Mariah left, but it was before they went on the field day. Is when we saw Amir like scurrying around the house, like I said, straightening up the curtains, getting on a bladder and all that stuff. And they were like, you know, Jasmine was like, you know, just the random stuff that we see Amir doing is just weird, you know, it's just real quirky. And she was like, you know, climbing on ladders, moving the curtains. And Amir pops in and says, throwing the dog toys in the washing machine. So you were the one that did it? So you mean to tell me that on top of the fact that I already feel like Mariah shouldn't have had to leave, you were the one that did it? You were the one that did it. And at no point in time did you say, hey, y'all, stop arguing, it was me. He talking about, and they asked him, he talking about well, I mean, the argument was already so far gone, I couldn't get in the middle of that. Not you, Mr. I was getting ready to tear down 7'20" Phil with no problem. You mean to tell me you couldn't insert yourself between the two ladies that were arguing and say, look, y'all, it was me. I did it. Because Mariah's anger, it was already misdirected anger. Let's be clear. She was mad about the moon mask that ain't nobody wanted to be a part of. But had you said, look, Mariah, it wasn't Bree. It was me. I did it. My bad. I apologize. I feel like that would have diffused the situation a little bit. And maybe it wouldn't have escalated. And maybe Mariah would still be in the house. So that's why your ass was feeling guilty and you went and said goodbye to Mariah and you was all crying and hugging and shit. Because you knew you were the reason why her ass was being put out. Because it was you. Now, granted, she still, you know, escalated the argument. But I just feel like it might have been a different outcome had you said, look, my bad. I was the one that actually put those things put the dog stuff in the washing machine. But neither here nor there. So Alex has an issue with Shanice. He feels like Shanice does not respect his personal space. They showed where the night before she was putting her hands all in his face and touching all on him. And so the next day he was like, I just really need you to I need you to respect my personal space. I need you to respect my personal space. And she was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What did I do? What did I do? And he was like, I just need you to, you weren't being respectful of my space. And she was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So we find out that Alex said that, he was kind of feeling Shanice, but he heard some things about her, and so that kind of turned him off. So, of course, production was like, well, what did you hear? And he was like, well, I don't want to say anything yet. So then later on, he finally says what it is that he heard. He said, well, I heard about, her ex-boyfriend, that she was stalking him, and it was a whole issue. So I found an article. Now let me find the article. I found the article. Let me see. Shanice. See if it'll come up. Because I think I sent it to myself. Here it is right here. So here's the article I found. So let me tell you guys what had happened. Actor Norman Towns, who was known for having parts on Insecure and The Affair, is going through a breakup right now, and this is really nasty. I'm sorry, this is an article dated September the 29th, 2021. And this is them. That is him. He's an actor. Remember, they said he was an actor, and there's Shanice. I'm going to read you guys this article. Towns says, he uploaded the details on his IG, and man, I feel bad for him because it would seem that his now ex, Shanice Jordan, is stalking him big time. Towns says that he broke up with her after he saw a message of her saying she slept with him one night and someone else the next night, and was planning on sleeping with the NFL player the night after. Shanice. He says that he doesn't know what to do because he's blocked her on all socials and had to change his phone number. She sent explicit pictures to companies he's working with. She's sleeping outside of his house, making fake accounts in his name, sending food to his door, and constantly emailing him every day. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. He has provided evidence and asked for help from anyone that has been through this because the police haven't done much after he filed 7 police reports. He even says that he tried to get a restraining order but was denied. He tried blocking her number and emails like he was told, but he showed a video of how many numbers and emails she had, and it's insane. Now, on the show, she did say she was calling that man all the time. And she said that the reason why his restraining order was denied is because he was still talking to her even through this. So it sounds like both of them was doing some old crazy stuff. But that's the information, because, child, they ain't give us all that breakdown on this episode, okay? But that's the episode. That's the breakdown, okay? So anyway, they get to the beach. Like I said, they did the little games. They played the little relay races and all that good stuff. And they really did end up having a good time, Now, they get back to the house and they're cooking dinner. Preston is making the mac and cheese. I'm going to let Amir slide that he asked if you're going to put some breadcrumbs on the mac and cheese, because nobody puts breadcrumbs on mac and cheese. But I understand that you grew up in a different culture, so maybe they do there. Who was cooking the steak? Was Silas cooking the steak, or Alex? One of the guys was cooking the steak. And of course the ladies were doing the sides. I think Jasmine was doing broccoli and all that good stuff. So they get to talking to Nick about whether, because when the guys were in the car, because they were talking about going out that night, and the girls were going to go to one spot and the guys go to a different spot. So while they were in the car, they were kind of trying to find out who Nick was feeling. And Nick, was like, I'm not really feeling nobody. Like, I get friendship vibes off of, Jordan, and I'm not really feeling. And they were kind of giving him the side eye. But then they started alluding to the fact that Nick has a secret. Now, later on, Nick finally admits that he got a girlfriend. I don't think that's the secret they was alluding to. But I'm going to go with that for now, that the secret is that he had a girlfriend this whole time and just didn't want to say nothing. The other thing we find out is that Jasmine was a wild child. Jasmine was out here living her best life when she was in New York working at the Playboy Club, getting drunk, showing up for work drunk. I think she said that's what ended up getting her fired from the Playboy Club. And of course, Silas is like, I didn't know that about her. Well, I didn't know that about her. Well, I didn't know that. So you don't know a lot of things. You know why you don't know a lot of things? Because you met her after that. She is not that person anymore. That is who she was when she was young, fancy free, living in New York. Listen, a whole lot of us had a whole lot of drunken nights and made a whole lot of bad decisions, okay? She ain't the first and only person to show up for work drunk, child. People done that. People have done that. They show up for drunk. They show up for work drunk. They show up for work high. They do all of those things, okay? But Silas is in his feelings about it because one, I think he feels some kind of way that she did it, and two, he feels some kind of way that he don't know. They started dating during the Panorama. So for the majority of their dating life, it was just them, the two of them. They didn't really interact with a lot of people because we were literally supposed to be on lockdown, okay? I don't know how you was starting a whole relationship while you were supposed to be on lockdown, but that ain't my business, okay? That is not my business. But Silas is feeling some kind of way, child, and that is where the episode ended. Let me know what y'all think. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.